NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Gyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Gyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Gyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Lucy, Gyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Lucy. Anyway, head over to gyro.com for more info and get amongst you legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Gyro Martin had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Gyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Gyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Gyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Gyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Gyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in free fall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Gyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight. Hey gang, so I got a new book out. It's called The Upside of Fear, and it's exactly what you think it's about. It's about the good side of, well, getting scared. In it, we talk not only about the science and biology behind fear, but the psychology as well. And it's not just coming from me, it's coming from some of the best in the sport. Omar Alhigelan, Jeff Provenzano, Maxine Tate, and so many more have contributed their sometimes terrifying stories to the book to help you overcome your fear. So head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com. You're going to find the link to the book there, as well as the other books. It's available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook right now.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go! Back in the can for another edition of the Lunatic Fringe podcast, and a smiling face that I've been wanting to see for quite some time. Man, who the fuck are you and what do you do?
I like to call myself the other Morrocan in skydiving. Like NS is main Moroccan and I'm like the other one on the side. No, I'm Youssef and from Morocco, and right now I have been working for almost 15 years now in sales, marketing, and finance for consumer goods. So your shampoo, your diapers, your condoms, that kind of stuff. I have worked on those brands, managed them, grew them, sold them, etc. Right now I'm on the baby diapers, and
Okay.
it's up in Sweden. So that's the work part, and then the skydive part. Yeah, I've been in the sport since August 31st, 2013. I have since become AFFI, TI. I've done some coaching. I've done a little bit of safety. I've done a little bit of collaboration with some military in Morocco, Kenya. Yeah, and then personal life, I have been married now for 2 months, 1 month, 3 weeks to a
Yes, yes, that's right. You're a new husband on top of everything else.
correct.
That's
And
pretty damn cool. I
yeah.
love that you call yourself the other Moroccan. Because I had you said that, and I actually had to think about it. I can legitimately only name two Moroccans for sure that I know
Yeah.
are Moroccan that skydive.
Yep. Yep.
But
And yeah.
well, and you kind of have both done your own thing, right? I mean, Anas has done a bunch of really high profile stuff, but you've done quite a lot in your time in the sport too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been lucky in that sense that Anes actually took me under his wing and is a if there is something beyond brother, it's him. Like
Sure.
the only thing on which we're not related is blood, but yeah, it's he's Anas and he's a brother and he's been there
Yeah.
for me for when we'll get to talk about the accident, I'll mention him because he just quit his life and was with me throughout, the ICU part, etc.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Well,
yeah, no,
that's actually where he and I became a bunch closer as well because we were good friends just because we worked together so much at Skydive Dubai. But and
yeah,
again, we'll talk about it a bit later. But he and I were both there through some slightly rougher times for you,
yeah,
and I got to see a different side of him and know him a lot better as well.
yeah, true,
So
true.
thanks for that.
No, my pleasure.
So,
Uh,
hey, as I always do, I'm going to jump you back, and not necessarily to your beginnings in the sport of skydiving, but into anything so-called extreme. Especially with Morocco, I don't know a lot about the culture, so I don't know where extreme sports fit into the mix.
um, I don't know if you would martial arts, boxing, Thai boxing actually
Yeah,
fall into that
I think
category.
that's pretty extreme. If I'm going to get intentionally get into a situation where someone's going to try and hit me in the face, yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that was the first one. That was I just left Morocco to for my college studies in France, and in the first year, friend of mine got into a stupid fight, and then I jumped in and I got knocked out by the other guy, and that pissed me off, and then I got into boxing and went all the way. So year one, year two, and then by year three, I was like our coach got us gigs as nightclub bouncers. So
nice,
there was a few, yeah, there was a few fights outside of the gym there. And then after that, got into competition, got a nice ranking, and then when I left France, that cooled off, and then it was Dubai, and Dubai I got into biking, and then after biking, boom, skydiving.
sure.
Uh,
Now,
yeah,
before we get too far ahead, so you went to university in France.
correct. Yeah,
S-
engineering.
So one of the things that I learned, Moroccans speak like a dozen different fucking languages, but you do it all at the same time.
Yeah, yeah,
Le-
yeah. Because yes, so well, everybody in Morocco will speak Arabic, obviously, Moroccan Arabic, and then Arabic, like classical. And then French, because we were a French protectorate from 1912 to 1956. Protectorate just being a nice name for colonization.
sure.
And then North and South speak Spanish because Spanish, again, protectorate colony. So I'm from the North, so I also speak a bit of Spanish. And then Moroccan dialect is a mix of all that.
Well, because I
And
remember vividly when I met some of your family members,
yeah,
I'd listen to the conversation, and obviously I had no idea what was being said, but I'd
yeah,
been living in an Arabic country long enough to recognize Arabic, and
yeah.
then I'd recognize French, and then an English word would slip in every now and then, and
Yep.
I remember thinking, what in the fuck language are they speaking?
Yeah, that's Morocco. And well, some words. My favorite one is our dialect word for bread, baguette,
Uh-huh.
is kumir. And actually, the origin of that is in the 70s there was famine in Morocco, and then the Americans who had military bases would distribute bread, so French baguettes, and they would put Moroccans in line and tell each one of them, "Come here," and then give them a piece of bread, and we processed that. Oh, that's okay, that's cool, man.
All right.
So
I mean,
that's
hey, that's a very practical use
yeah,
of language, though. That's what they say, and when they say that, I get bread. Okay.
correct.
So
So
you go to France for schooling, and you said engineering,
yeah, mathematical engineering, yeah,
mathematical engineering.
correct.
Okay, so you go to school for mathematical engineering, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, you pitch diapers and condoms.
Yeah.
Okay, where'd that switch happen?
uh, to a 2008 financial crisis.
Oh, yeah. That got
That
you, huh?
yep, that basically killed every hope of working in market finance.
Wow.
And then I got called by Procter and Gamble, so Gillette brand, and Pantene and Head and Shoulders and Ariel and Tide and blah blah blah. They're gigantic. They're a
Sure.
multi-billion, $80 billion company, and just an amazing company. And yeah, I got called and they said, You're a mathematician. We need a mathematician in marketing to kind of develop and run models that will tell us how many bottles of shampoo we could sell if we enter Algeria." And I
Gotcha.
said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then
I,
I did that, and then
I mean, what a way to shift positions, right?
yeah, and
I
it was
remember vividly 2008 fucked up a lot of people and a lot of my friends outside of skydiving, but it didn't do a damn thing to me because I was just a broke skydiver. I literally remember talking to a friend of mine and he was super upset because he'd lost a bunch in his 401k and all this kind of stuff had taken a shit. And I was like, you lost a bunch of money in a 40 what? That was the only time that being a broke skydiver, living fucking month to month just was the best thing ever. I'm like, I didn't lose a goddamn thing.
Brilliant. Yep.
So you obviously through work and all this, you end up in Dubai and you start taking up other sports like that. But when did skydiving become a thing for you? Like when was the desire?
I got tricked into it.
All right.
Okay, so I had a colleague in Procter and Gamble, and Huma Tariq. We haven't spoken in 10 years, but I remember that discussion and that moment vividly. So she called me up and said, "Look, tomorrow was a Sunday. I'm going for a skydive. It's my first one. I'm super scared. Can you come and just support me mentally, emotionally? Because we were really good friends." I showed up and she had bought a tandem for me as well. And it was so expensive that I just sucked it up because very, very, very scared of heights at the time.
Sure.
And then yeah, just I was given Noah Benson as TI.
Oh, that's a rough way to start.
Yep, and Kai Kai as camera.
Oh, fuck you. Really?
I know. Yep. So we went up and they just had fun all the way down. Like Noah obviously trying to grab Kai Kai's shoe, take it off of him, and then blah blah blah. But I don't remember much of the jump. I keep rewatching the video and I still don't remember shit. Landed, ran to the bathroom, emptied stomach, obviously, and then you know got so pissed that I wasn't in control and I didn't remember everything, blah blah blah. That I tried by starting AFF, but at the time it was like they didn't have availability, so it was VIP only. Like you had to buy VIP package, which was 15,000 dirhams,
Sure.
which I did not have.
Sure.
So I just, went to the other thing that I was scared of, which was motorbiking.
Okay.
I did that. I bought a bike. I got the license. I bought a bike. I did a couple of years of it. No, a year and a half. And then got tired of it, sold the bike, and that was exactly enough money to do the AFF.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's
10
kind
times.
of, I get the impression that you're a person that does not like to not be in control.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sense that you might have a bit of a control issue.
Uh, it's not so much the control part, it's more of the not, blockage. Like I got knocked out. I'm like, okay, no, I need to know how to fight.
Sure,
I fell off a friend, my cousin's scooter, and I went, okay, fuck it, I need to learn how to bike.
sure.
Shit scared of heights, couldn't remember the jump. Nah, I need to, get a hold of this, and it just keeps going. Like still now, it's
Well,
I don't
I mean,
know.
it's a good thing, right? Because, and I'm sure you've seen it with your years in the sport and your ratings, man. The biggest regret I would imagine the people that I've met would have in their entire lives were the ones that refused the jump. The
That's
people that rode up on a tandem for that first jump and they were scared and they let it get the better of them and they rode the plane down. And
yeah.
I know for myself, if that had happened to me, I'd
Mm,
never forgive myself until I went out and did it. I mean,
yeah.
it's what an incredible level of regret to ride that, to let it win, right?
Yep. And okay, so then two things. One, as a TI, I have never had a customer who refused to jump. The worst I've had was one who on the ground told me, I will refuse, but push me out. And then, I brought in the CI, the SNTA, just, film it like just so we're clear
Yeah.
that if I do it, it's gonna. And she did hold on to everything that she could, but
Ah,
we did. I got her out in a very, basically I was first one out the
yep.
plane and she
Yep.
just got dragged out.
Yep.
So that was point number one. Point number two is my cat A went horrible. I
Uh,
failed, obviously, but it went really, really bad. It was with Ioana,
mm,
Dimitriou,
yeah,
and Smudge, if you remember him.
I do.
There you go. I kicked him. So
All right.
Ioana was the only one that stayed with me, and then he came back down and because uh, being a boxer, danger, danger, automatically I get into defense position and I
Sure.
start throwing punches and exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bit of a fight for an AFF.
It
It's
had,
it it's funny that you say you almost had a refusal but never did with a tandem because I'm exactly the same. I
yeah,
never had a actual refusal, but I had one guy really fucking try out of the sky van at
yeah,
Cross Keys.
yeah,
And you walk straight out the back of that. So the students
yep,
just got an eye full of what's coming. We didn't have video.
yeah.
And he got about a meter away from the tailgate at the end and just fucking froze. And he was 6 inches taller than me and probably 30 pounds heavier. So I'm like,
Mashallah.
shit, I can't force this guy out. He's saying he doesn't want to go. I can't force him out. So I told him, I'm like, all right, really slowly, right where we are, I need you to turn around 360 or 270 degrees, face the back, 180 degrees, and
Yeah,
then we're going to walk back. But you got to turn around. And he turned around, and as soon as he hit 180, I ran out backwards.
nice. What
I'm
was
like,
the
no,
reaction on the ground?
I'm like, I'm not going to fucking ruin my perfect record. God damn it. He loved it. But of course he was like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Well, you backed up when you turned around and we slipped." Oops.
Oops.
So with the your level, your cat A going that bad, it must have been. It could have gone either way, right? It could have been, all right, fuck this, that's not for me, or clearly with you, you were like, wait a second.
Yep. No, yeah, it's well, I it was at the desert, so I remember just sitting at the cafeterias for a long time, trying every type of meditation, including religious. So I read some Quran
Mm.
to calm myself down, and then I went back and got was given shunka with Joanna.
Shunka.
Yep. And he went hard on me in the plane because I was again, getting into my boxing bullshit and almost there boxing and just super tight. And I don't remember exactly his words, but he just grabbed me and told me my my truth. And we got out, and it went fantastic, and I passed. And then Cat B was Joanna and Mishka.
Okay.
And then from Cat C onwards to the coaching to everything, I was the luckiest man, luckiest student because I was given Pablo Rua, who had just showed up to Skydive Dubai.
Oh, nice.
And that guy, his energy just, you cannot fail
For
with
sure.
him.
For sure. Well, I mean, what a rock star crew anyway, because you got Chunka, who just that guy has no bullshit in him.
Correct.
He's not going to tiptoe. He's not going to stroke your hair and say, it's going to be okay. He's going to be like, look, you fucked that up. Now we're going to go fix it, but you're going to do this. Man, he's just no shit. I used to love flying Shunka because a lot of the times he would be the chief instructor on the plane that I'd be flying. And as soon as I saw it was him, I'm like, oh, this load's going to go smooth because he's not going to take any shit while it's going on back there. It's going to be great.
Yep. And
Yeah.
it did. And it works. It just works.
It's always great to, and it happens more and more, obviously after a decade in Dubai, but I've talked to so many people that like began their careers after I started flying at Skydive Dubai and have had the majority of their career take place there.
Mm.
And it was such a talent pool
Yes.
that, I mean, the
Yes.
world's best were there every
Yes.
weekend.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's just I mean, Skydive Dubai, I think it was I got in 2013, but from what I've been hearing from the previous generation, so most people would say 2009 to probably 2018 was the golden age.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
yeah, and yeah, so my 1000th jump, I planned nothing, and then Noah and Julian show up,
Ha.
and they just go, "Have you ever flown a tube?" No. Okay, go get one. And then both of them took me up on 3 coaching jumps just to, because I barely flew head down at this point, but I could kind of do it.
Sure.
So just, Noah fixed my position, everything, and then Julian gave some tips. And boom, 1000 jump, 4 tubes. I had one of them. And then the rest of the people on the plane, yeah, it's just, all-star crew and this peasant. and I still have the photo, I still have the video, and every now and then, just because you think that the amount of gratefulness you would have in you is limited, but it's not.
No.
And it just keeps stacking up. And I look at the guys here in these drop zones or back in Morocco when we sit down and share stories, or in Diani or in Zanzibar.
Yeah. It's funny
amazing.
because again, you had so much of your career took place in Dubai. Now that you've been gone since what, 2020?
I landed here. Well, I left Dubai. Accident in Feb. Left Dubai in March. Landed in Sweden on July 27th, 2020.
Okay, so with the majority of your career, active career taking place in Dubai, you end up with all these, I mean, let's just call them completely ridiculous stories. Like they're just insane. And I don't know about your experience, but you'll talk to people that weren't there, and in the new location and new people that you're getting to know, and you'll find yourself halfway through a story that anyone from Dubai would not question for a second.
Yeah.
But then you realize how absurd they sound to anyone that wasn't there, and you're in the middle of a story going, I don't fucking believe this story.
Yeah.
It's insane, right?
Yes. Yeah, man. Do you remember the dream jump? I remember you were there.
The which jump?
dream jump when we were jumping off Princess Tower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that one, remember, there was three guys who were picked. One was social media influencer. One was the votes. I got the votes.
Yep.
And the third one, I can't remember how he got picked, but just being there, surrounded by Vince, may he rest in peace, and
Yeah.
Fred and Noah and Julian and just again
And
Miles Dasher and
Micah and
Micah, may he rest in peace as well. And and,
yeah.
and yeah, I'm just fucking jumping off Princess Tower and going down, head down, and seeing people just on their balconies like yeah, and I tell stories to non-skydivers, and that gets even
It's
not worse, but they
no worse. That's the perfect word for it, because everybody I know now on a day-to-day basis are non-skydivers, and I just stopped telling stories because you see them glaze over because they're like, Victoria married a fucking liar, because there's no way that shit's true,
Yeah, yeah,
Like I was just talking to Roberta Mancino last week. Her
yeah,
episode will actually come out just before yours, and we talked quite a bit about the dream jump and all the stuff that was going on in Dubai.
yeah,
Oh,
and
so
yeah.
first off, I forgot to ask, what did the family think when you started jumping out of airplanes?
I expected more resistance, but somehow I don't want to transition to the accident, but kind of the reaction was because mom's opinion was the one that I expected the most resistance from.
Sure.
Because dad is, you happy? Yeah, then go for it. He's a very, simple man
Nice.
in that sense, extremely intelligent, but anyway. And yeah, no, mom was, she basically just asked, do you, is it gonna make you happy? Do you need to do this? And if you do, will you be able to keep yourself safe?
Sure.
I said yes, then yeah, go for it. And
Well,
then the rest is up to Allah, as she says always.
having met your mom, I found her to be an incredibly down-to-earth, very relaxed woman, especially considering the circumstances with which I met her and
Yeah.
how very open she was to all the people that she met, all of whom
Yeah.
were incredibly busy in skydiving, which I'd imagine had put a bad taste in her mouth around that time.
That's the thing. Ironically, no, because yeah, because most
Impressive.
people, yeah, no, there wasn't many French speakers. And many times there was, everybody in the room was just speaking English, and she's just sitting in a corner being herself, just observing and taking in the energy. And when we left the hospital to my place before she flew back to Morocco, she told me, other than the sport itself, other than the jumping, the physical activity in itself, I really do understand why you love and have been for so long in the sport and want to stay in it despite the accidents.
Mm,
Is those amazing people who are around you, because one, they came to visit you. Two, the my face lit up when I was seeing you guys, and I
sure.
felt like it was quite the same the other way around. And that's, we forget that that doesn't happen outside the skydiving world. Like,
Sure. Well, another unique thing too, I think, because of the skydiving community, is we handle those kind of situations dramatically differently than most
correct,
other people would.
correct.
If someone outside of skydiving is in a serious accident,
Yeah,
and people are going to visit them in the hospital, it's very quiet and very somber and tears and
yeah.
worry. And skydivers kick the door open going, when's this fucking guy gonna get out of bed? And we're laughing and talking shit and giving
Yeah,
you as much crap as we can while you're awake.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and I remember thinking about that at one point, because I believe it was your mom and your sister were in the room and you were kind of with us and back asleep and stuff. But I was giving you a hard time, or I think Olga may have been there. Someone else was there, and we were being relatively boisterous.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I wonder what the hell they must think of us, because we appear to be very lighthearted about a pretty serious situation.
She absolutely loved every one of the visits. I
That's
promise
awesome.
you. And my sister, and there was a few people that she remembers. She obviously doesn't remember the names, but she describes them, and you were one of them. And it's yeah, a few people always do stand out. The strong personalities, the very charismatic people, such as
Sure.
yourself. And
Are you calling me an asshole?
no, well, a little bit.
A
So,
little bit. A little bit. So
but
we've
yeah.
kind of brushed on the subject, but before we dive too deep into it, in Dubai, you went and you got your instructor's ratings and all that, and then of course you
Not
started. You
not
didn't
both.
get.
No, no, no,
Where'd you get
no.
those?
So tandem was in Dubai with the junior, and he will always remember me as a student, and I'll come back to that. And then AFF was in Diani because a lot of my we keep and we should give 90% of the credit to Dubai, but let's go over 100% and give maybe another 30% to Diani and to Gary and the team because that was my other home DZ.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where I did my AFF rating with Uli Schneider, who is an examiner from Germany, but he lives in Portugal. So tandem with Junior, and
I remember your course.
yeah, and do you remember how much he was bitching about the last examination jump for a very specific reason? The hooks?
I don't remember the reason.
I do.
Remind me.
Well, on the last jump, final, instead of, oh God, the lower attachments,
Yeah, yeah.
instead of pulling them out in like a normal person would, I went the other way. So exactly, so after the opening, I could not unhook him, and we fought with that thing for a good 5 minutes, with him standing on my feet and just trying to fucking. And I think at the end we managed to, but he was, he passed me still, but he was very, very upset. And he's still telling the story for every one of his, every time he has a student, do not do like Youssef did. He's like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
got it.
Well,
Copy.
I always thought he was a complete fucking nutcase for not just being a tandem examiner, but for insisting that he ride on the front of the students for multiple levels. I mean,
Yep.
he has more tandems up front than most people have fucking jumps.
Well, he's not a big dude, so easy to carry, but and he's fucking expert and a lot of fun to fly with, and
Yeah, man.
just yeah, I miss him. I really do
Yeah,
miss
me
him.
too.
If he listens, shout out to
Yeah.
our little bro junior.
Yeah, no, I miss him too. We still keep in touch. He's busy doing military contracts and stuff in the States and working his butt off, as always. I mean, he always was a workhorse.
Yep, yeah, true, very true.
So
So
between Diani and Dubai, you got your ratings, and we're having some fun with that. And you were also obviously playing around with the canopy stuff and
oh yes.
getting smaller and faster, which leads to what we had kind of brushed up against talking about, which was you had kind of a bad day.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
So
Uh
talk me through what you remember that.
oh, I everything up until 1 second before impact.
Oof.
Yeah,
Oof.
and then so Sunday, February 9th, 2020. Um, the impact was at around 1:15 p.m. So basically on that day, showed up to the DZ. It opened at 10. From the start, weather hold. 11, still standby. 12, standby. And then at 1, okay, we can go, but we're sending a test load. So because I had been begging Dana to put me on the first plane, she did. And then there was three other instructors.
Mm.
I remember Kuba and ah, two others. Anyway, but all three of them, who had three, four times my number of jumps, had big canopies,
Mm.
like big, like really big, like we're
Yep.
talking 190 and above. And I was the only idiot with my little Leia 75. So I get out first. I was doing 1080s at the time. So I do my 1080. It started around 1700 feet. I do the turn and then last, 180 snap, did it 1 second, 2 seconds, and then and then I don't remember anything.
Mm,
And basically, what had happened is there was turbulence around 1,000 feet. So I flew through that layer of turbulence, which made me lose maybe 100, 200 feet,
mm,
which made my recovery 3 seconds instead of four. And that's why on the third second, impacts around 30-degree angle, a good speed. So first impact and then bounce, and second one, first impact femur to double fracture, and then second one, shoulder dislocation and head trauma with a 6 millimeter tear in the left frontal lobe of the cortex.
mm. Fucking
And
hell, man.
yeah, good times.
I
So
I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, I was flying the plane.
I think so
Um,
too. Yeah.
because I was on the descent, and anytime there's an incident, they would radio up, "Hey, something's going on. We're gonna hold off on loading for a minute."
Hmm.
So I'm on the descent, and then they said, "Hey, we're gonna hold you when you get on the ground because
Hmm.
they've got medical team coming." And I instantly grabbed the load sheet. I'm like, "All right, who is the last person on this fucking load I
Yeah.
want to hear about?" And it
Yeah.
was you. And of course, you were the only one that it could be, because the other guys were just wind test dummies going
Yeah.
up on tandem simulations, basically, to see
Yeah.
what the wind was going to do. So
Yeah.
I knew even before I asked, I'm like, "God damn it.
Yeah.
No, 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 no."
Yeah. Sorry,
Um,
bro.
and that was a shit day, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was worse for you, but it
No,
sucked.
honestly, no. Genuinely, the whole and I've been saying this since that Thursday when I woke up. Um, it was not like for me. What the only bad part about that accident is how it affected the people around me. So my
Sure.
family, my friends, like having them worry, having them, my mom and sister flying in from Morocco, like uh, overnight after getting visas and fighting to get those visas quickly. And but yeah, long story short, the only bad part for me was that because the physical pain is fine. Morphine was incredible. I had the time of my life in that hospital.
Yeah, there's something to say for it in there.
And so yeah, the physical part was a bit more annoying afterwards when I moved to Sweden and I was still on crutches, etc. And but yeah, and when I was alone in the room at night in the hospital room in the ICU and just processing what if I had checked out, I was you look back at your life, even though I was 34 at the time, 30, 35. It was a really good life,
Sure,
like an incredible life because of the people around me. Thanks to the
sure.
people, not because, thanks to the people around me, thanks to the skydiving community, the boxing community, some colleagues, an incredible family, and you just go, all right, like there isn't that many things that I haven't done yet that I wish I had done, other than finding the love of my life and getting married.
Mm,
Um, but everything else is, yeah, you're like, all right, I
sure,
compared to most of humanity,
sure.
not bad, not bad at all.
Well,
But yeah, and you're happy to get a bonus and to get
sure.
another 30 years as a bonus, not
Oh,
bad. I'll take it.
absolutely. Yeah, getting the second chance doesn't suck either.
No.
Well,
Um,
that was an interesting, especially the first, I want to say, couple of weeks, because you were in ICU for quite a while.
yeah, yeah, yes. 10, 12 days.
Yeah, to the point where, because a lot of us were coming every day or every other day, and again, that's when I got to spend a fair amount of time with Anas and how I got to meet your mom and your sister. But
Yeah.
I also got to meet one of the surgeons
Yeah.
who had worked on our other friends.
Yeah. Paja something. Pajamani, I think. Finnish guy.
Yeah, which
Yes.
oddly enough, now of course I sit here recording this in Finland, but yeah,
Yes.
he's the big bald guy.
Yes. Yes. Super nice guy. Yeah.
Absolute sweetheart. But I remember because all the skydivers were making constant rotations to the point where they weren't even checking who was coming in the ICU anymore. They'd see some really tired looking, kind of dirty, dusty jumper and just let them in.
Yeah.
So there was a constant stream of people. But I remember talking to your doctor, and I happened to be in the room. You were asleep, and I think your mom and sister were there. And he came in trying to get some clarification on what happened because he
Yeah.
couldn't wrap his head around how you'd hurt yourself. And
Yeah.
I had to explain to him, this is how a parachute works. This is the
Yeah.
size parachute he was on. This is the angle he would have hit. And this is how fast he was going. And I remember him just going, yep, that would do it.
Yeah.
And it was just and that was when you were kind of coming in and out, and you were slowly starting to come back, but you were kind of like what was that comedy with what's his name where his girlfriend would forget every day? I can't remember it. 50 First Dates. You were kind of
Yeah.
like 50 First Dates because you wouldn't remember having talked to me before. And then you'd be like, oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I think I remember that now. Oh, wait, I was in an accident? Shit.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what was the recovery like for you? I mean,
Oof.
obviously, it's a lifelong process, but before you were starting to feel a bit more like yourself.
Mm. No, it was rough. It was rough.
Mm,
Nah. Well, so the first part was in Morocco, and so I I went to Morocco in March, and that's when COVID started in Morocco. And ironically, so in Dubai they had prescribed tramadol for the pain, and then
right.
I was on it for a while, and then I went to Morocco, and then still on some tramadol, and then sometime mid-March, sitting with the family, had taken my tramadol, we're watching TV, and then I just black out.
Wow.
Uh, Wake back up, and everybody's screaming and just running around and calling an ambulance, and I had seizure.
Wow.
Yeah. So the tramadol lowered my something threshold, so that made me get seizure. So I had one at home, another one in the ambulance, and then a third one at the hospital while being at the hospital reception, on the bed. And next to me, the two patient zero of COVID in Morocco. So, but I didn't catch it. So it was just. But yeah, so and then after that, they no more tramadol, only paracetamol, which meant nothing
Yeah,
basically. So
does
just
nothing.
yeah, just suck it up and live with the pain.
Yeah.
And then shitty epilepsy medication, and then Sweden, and then COVID, and then social isolation. So it's a lot of things, but it just made my first year and a half in Sweden an absolute nightmare.
I bet.
Yeah, no, really bad, really,
I
really
bet.
bad because
I bet.
COVID, because social isolation, because no skydiving.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well,
it's a,
I'll tell you what, I got to say one thing about Dubai, especially considering it's an Arabic country, you can get great drugs.
yes,
Because I had actually I had three surgeries there, but I had two big fucking surgeries and I was high for a long time off of legal drugs in that place. Granted, I needed it, but holy shit.
uh, actually, I can give you a ranking of quality of morphine between,
Yeah.
between Dubai, Sweden, and Morocco.
Oh,
Morocco comes in dead last. I think they mix it with water.
yeah.
Dubai is by far best, and then Sweden is okay. It's
Yeah.
not so good. Uh, but their surgeons are very good as well. Like the guy who did my shoulder,
Yeah.
fucking superstar.
Awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it, right? I mean, I've got 10 surgeries under my belt now, and you just kind of learn to adjust and live with the pain and do things a little bit differently so that you can keep doing the same silly shit that you were doing before. You just have to adjust it a bit and do it
Yeah,
just slightly differently. Because you're back to jumping, right?
correct. Can you hear the rain outside?
I can't, no. Is it that
Okay.
hard?
It's fucking pouring.
Ha!
All right. Yeah, I'm back to jumping. Well, just tandems because fun jumping. There is when you fun jump in Dubai, it's very hard to have fun jumping elsewhere.
Sure,
So yeah, I'm focusing on just doing tandems, making some money.
sure.
Uh, it's it's fairly ironic doing tandems here because there are three other TIs and all three of them are twice my size. Customers being Swedes are also usually twice my size.
Yep, they're big
So
people.
yep. So when the four of us are lined up and then four customers show up, I can see the fear in my customer seeing, you know,
Yep,
going with the pocket size one.
yep.
But it's been good. It's been good.
I mean, I get the same thing here. They're all fucking Vikings, man. I mean, my
Yeah,
wife's slightly taller than me, and she's not particularly tall by Finnish standards. So
yeah.
I walk into the gym and it's just fucking giants everywhere.
I keep telling them, yeah, they have the ones at the gym have graduated gym. They're done. They should fucking leave.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
should,
You're
yeah.
finished, dude. It's okay. You can stop now.
You're good to go.
Oh
Have people like
man.
you. It's the and yeah, it's oh boy.
So have you got any trips planned in the future where you'll be able to go fun jump back to Diani or anything like that? Go out and enjoy a little bit?
Yeah, well, Diani is now Zanzibar, where Gary has moved because well, I think you must remember the story. It was a bit tragic how Diani had to close.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but now there is Skydive Swahili in the same location, but they're on and off. I don't think they're open right now. And there is Skydive Kenya, I think it's
Yep,
called, which is owned and operated by Zainab and a former
yep.
front jumper of Diani.
Yeah, I was actually
Oh,
out there 6 months ago.
oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah, I went out and helped train the pilot that they use because he'd never had any real formal training dropping jumpers and they needed him to get going faster. So
That is a very Kenyan thing
yeah,
because, oh, fuck. With
I
Gary, we basically I was helping Gary organize three boogies a year minimum. So we always had December, August, and sometimes March, and also sometimes September, October. So it varied. And then we had the biggest boogie ever in December. I think it was 2018
mm.
or 2017.
Junior
But
was there on that one, wasn't he?
yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
I heard all kinds of stories from him.
yeah.
He almost remembered everything.
Yes. So yeah. Well, like because it was a very big boogie, we had 420 skydivers coming in.
Wow.
The 420 was a coincidence, but
No, it wasn't.
yeah. So and so I got there a week before to help Gary, prepare, and we were supposed to get two super vans, and they got canceled last minute. They were coming in from
Ah,
the UK and they got canceled last minute. So Gary being Gary, he found a fucking Embraer 120. Exactly. So, so I brought that thing with the crew on board, and yeah, it still had all the chairs. It was flying commercial, and he just brought it, and then four of us, so Gary, me, and two other instructors, we went up to test it, and we were sitting with the crew in normal chairs, and they were offering us drinks while the pilot was trying to figure out how to drop skydivers at the right speed. And fucker, and that like it was a cargo door, so you open that thing and just pray. And fucking asshole ended up dropping us at 120 knots.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
And yeah, and not super close to the beach, so high pool. And and then over time we kept basically we took out the chairs, we told the crew to fuck off, and we just kept jumping with him over a few days to help him understand that he needed to go down to at least 80 knots
Yeah.
and get a little bit closer maybe to
Yep.
the beach.
Yep. Yeah,
And
it's a different kind of flying, man. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Airline boys can do shit I can't do, but I can do some things they can't do.
yeah, exactly. And
You know.
thank you for that.
Yeah. There's a few tricks in there.
Yeah.
So, hey, hopefully you get to get yourself out and get out and do some fun jumps and stuff. But say there's a random person in Sweden that wants to come to a tandem with you, or there's old friends of yours that are listening that want to know the next time you're heading to a boogie so that they can tag along. How do people get a hold of you? How do they reach you on social media? How can they see what's up?
I kind of.
Do you not really do social media too much?
No, I'm trying. Well, Facebook's still on, so my generation can still claim to be still using Facebook.
Right.
And yeah, I'm still on Facebook, so just look up my name, Youssef Elmajdoub. Instagram I've taken out because my feed was just naked chicks and Gaza.
All right.
So yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Fair enough. And Facebook mostly, and most people I know have my WhatsApp. And
Awesome.
yeah, so Skydive Vorgorda, which is an hour northeast of the city I live in, Gothenburg, Göteborg for the locals.
Okay.
I am planning to do a few more traveling with the missus. I have not taken her up for a tandem yet, so shame on me.
Oh,
I know.
that's the big one.
That is, yeah, and yeah, it's gonna be a.
You're gonna have to make that happen for sure.
Yes, sir. But yeah, just fucking reach out. Most people know me and they know
Nice.
they know I talk a lot.
Nice. Yeah.
So they know my energy.
Well,
And I want to come visit you above all. So I'll chat with the missus at some point or come up with a business.
we are a drive and a ferry ride away from each other, or a
Yeah.
very short flight.
I think flight will be a better option. Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, see, I kind of like the whole taking the ferry across. I think it's an overnight ferry from Helsinki to Stockholm, I think.
Stockholm is a 3-hour fast train from here. All flights.
Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a short flight from here. I think it's like a 45-minute flight from Helsinki. But I mean, we got to catch up face to face. This has been great, but people aren't going to want to listen to us talking for hours and hours, which we can absolutely do. But we're absolutely going to plan a trip, and then I'm going to have to find out what boogie you're going to, because now I don't work in the sport, so I'm going to have to try and make my pilgrimage to get some jumps in.
Do you know, I remember our last fun jump together, just the two of us.
Really?
I do. It was on the Sherpa.
Yep.
And you had the white rig.
Yep.
And it was your Velo or Velo 79?
96.
96.
96.
And we just, two of us, free fly, quite quickly into head down, a fuckload of carving, smiling all the way. And then kind of close to each other under canopy, and then you landed first, and then I followed you, and
that's what it's about.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, can't wait to do it again, brother.
Same, brother. Same.
Man, it's been so good catching up, and we're not going to keep it as long as it has been, especially not because we're so close. But now that we're back in contact, we got to keep it up regularly. I want to find out everything that's going on.
We'll make it happen.
All right, brother. Love you.
Love you too, bro.
Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast, brought to you as always by, well, wait, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Gyro. Formerly known as NZ Aerosports, you'll head to gyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the extreme sports collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Jarrett Martin and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available, hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Get on the floor, get on the floor,